Everybody, ciao a tutti, welcome to Art with Miss B. Today's video is going to be a little different and somehow special compared to the previous one. So in the first 14 videos, I really focus on giving you very strong foundations and knowledge and practice about the art elements, right? So that was a very formal training, and this is basically what I do in school. I want my students to be really able to know, understand, and master the element of art, so they will be able to use those elements to create beautiful artworks and convey meaning and embrace and represent the principle of art design, such as emphasis, balance, rhythm, movement, and so on. Sometimes in school, and also in my own personal artistic practice, after I finish a very strong, very formal, very intense unit or project, I like to break it down and include some mindful practice. What are the mindful practices? Mindful practices are basically practices that, of course, involve elements of art like lines, colors, and different techniques, right? This is the way that we create art. But they are meant to help ourselves to refocus just on our mind and body, be connected and be present at the time. So they are practices that don't really focus on one element in particular, don't really focus on one principle. They don't really focus on rules or the perfection of the executions. They just focus on the fact that through the artistic practice, we kind of keep our mind in itself, in our body, and we just focus on what our hands are doing on that paper or on the sculpture, the movement, the repetition of something that we do over and over in order to finish and to accomplish an artwork, like to accomplish something. I love to do these practices for many reasons. Once, because it gives everybody, even the students that are they are challenged by art, because art is not easy, they gives everybody the opportunity to kind of release a little bit of stress and responsibility and just feel free to enjoy the colors, to enjoy the brush, to enjoy the crayons, to just enjoy that very moment, right? Without any goal, without any specific standard that we have to reach. And also because I've noticed that we are all, no matter our age, because as a teacher I teach from kindergarten, so I see 5 years old all the way to 15 years old, and I can tell you that in different way, but we all are overexposed and so overstimulated and therefore kind of stressed. The tiredness that we have nowadays might not be physical because we have tools and technologies that help us to do physical work, but our mind tend to be very stressed out. And if there is something that we can do to help ourselves, to help our students, to help someone we love to feel better, we should do it. This is what I call a sort of artistic yoga. Years ago, I was like, oh, I don't think I like yoga. I want something more energizing, whatever. But then I got very stressed last year because they got us a new home and there were so many things that they were not finished the way that they were supposed to. So I spent the whole summer with people working in the house while we were living in the house and cleaning after them. So thankfully, everything is now fine. It's all, it was worth it, but it was a very stressful time of my life. And I started to practice 20 minutes of yoga every morning through YouTube. And now I cannot start a day without doing 15 minutes of yoga every day. Even when I teach a school, I wake up a little earlier so I can do my yoga and then get myself ready and then go to school. This is exactly sort of the same. Like yoga helped me to kind of create these protective bubbles. So this is what I want you to focus. So when we start the practice that I switch the camera, I will be absolutely silent. So you decide if you want to be absolutely silent, if you want to have your own music. So that helps you to keep the pace with the breathing and the movement of your hands, and you will just relax. And you will be protected by this own bubble that is the same bubble that I create when I do artistic yoga or real yoga, that kind of makes me forget about what I did before, what I had to do, all of my duties, all of my responsibility, all of the errands that I have to run, and I just stop for a second and I really enjoy and dig that practice, and I kind of focus just on my breath, like in and out, nice, slow pace, and I just enjoy what I'm doing, focusing only on what I have in front of me. Sometimes my mind will go and wander, and I say, oh, I need to go grocery shopping later, and then I find myself this, you need to find the strength to gently guide your mind back into the body. So very simply, 4 or 5 new videos of mindful practices. They're what I call artistic yoga, because it's like to do yoga but through an artistic practice. So prep yourself. All the materials are included in the description box. What I'm using is just a piece of paper, pencil, and today I'm gonna use markers, just because in the previous video I used colored pencil and in the previous one I used painting, so I like to kind of switch, and alternate this technique so I can get the benefit out of all of them. And my suggestion, prep your colors, like all the colors that you want to use at the very beginning, so you are stress-free and you don't have to make any decision at all while you do the practice. I'm going to switch the cameras and see what happens. So, okay guys, so this is what we're gonna start with. A simple small piece of paper and a simple design that I created just using very basic line. So I started with let me just switch the pencil. I started with this line of the horizon, then I add the semicircle for a sort of a sun, and then I randomly trace diagonal lines in direction and in another, and then I fill up and I represent the rays of the sun with triangles, basically shapes. So you can do any design that you want. You can definitely copy mine. As you notice, is something that I did very spontaneously without thinking too much, something simple, easy, that comes to me extremely fast. Now, we want to create a comfortable situation, so a situation in which we will have to do really little choice. We will have to make very little choices when we do the practice. So, as you've noticed, I prep my markers already. I'm using Sharpies. You can use any markers that you want. If you want to use another technique such as watercolor, pencil, go for it. Remember that the focus is not on the element, is not on the technique, but it's just on the practice itself, giving the time for our mind to be present in what we do. But I prep already the colors and I place them in order, the order that I want to use them. Why? Because when I start, I don't want to have to worry about anything. I don't want to have to do any planning. So now I'm using the black Sharpie actually to go over the lines that I created with a pencil. So pause the video, get your materials such as the paper, do the design with the pencil, something simple, intuitive, spontaneous, and then go on top of your pencil lines with the Sharpie. So you already set the boundaries. These boundaries makes you feel comfortable, safe. You don't have to stress yourself about, oh my, I went outside, oh my, I colored the wrong space. No, you already set the boundaries on the paper that will keep you safe, and you just have to follow them in order to finish this small mindful artwork. So as I say, if you want to use more of organic lines, curved lines, whatever you want to use it, just use it. But it has to be really something simple. This is not a practice that we challenge our drawing skills, painting skills. This is something different. We don't want to focus on one technique, one single element. some principle. We just want to have a few lines that give us this design, that will give us the opportunity to enjoy the colors and the coloring experience and just follow our hands and the repetition of our movements on this paper. So this is like the goal of this artistic yoga. This is, I like to call it this way. So we're gonna start with our art yoga. I'm gonna start using my colors, and you can decide your own palette. And as I told you, just place them in the order so you don't have to make any choice. You make everything at the beginning, so the practice is gonna be extremely, extremely nice and relaxing with stress, really totally stress-free. I'm not gonna talk at all, and you will use your own favorite music if you want to, or you can just be quiet, as you know, you do you, because it is your time. Sometimes just the movement of your hands and the noise of the markers scrubbing the paper, it is enough for just keeping your mind present at this time. Remember that if you start to wander around, what did I do yesterday? What do I have to do tomorrow? Just gently invite your mind to refocus on, this, I'm using the yellow now. I'm moving my hands back and forth, and I'm feeling this space. So let's do our best to be really, really present in this experience. And don't forget to breathe in and out from your nose in a very natural way and with a very calm rhythm. Not too slow, not too fast. The same rhythm that you will use to color. Not too slow, not too fast. You do you. and I consider my practice all done. Okay, here we are. I really hope that you enjoy this mindful practice, or artistic yoga, as I like to call it. This is the practice that I did. And remember, the design can be exactly as I did if you want to be really completely stress-free and you don't want to decide, or you can create your own design different than mine. What it is important is that you don't use a huge space, so you kind of feel protected and serene in this small space that represent your boundaries. You create something very spontaneous, very simple, that come really easy to you. You prepare your material next to you, and the colors are ready in the order that you would like to use them. So you have really a stress-free practice, because you reduce to the minimum the choices that you have to make during the artistic practice. Ask yourself this question: am I focusing on a specific technique? Absolutely no. I use markers, you can use watercolors, you can use crayons, you can use pencil, you can use anything that you like. Did I focus on one specific element, like the perfection of the lines? Absolutely no. A realistic drawing? Absolutely no. Did I focus on a realistic use of colors? Absolutely no. On purpose, I actually use the warm color for the ocean or the ground, and very cold color, which are definitely not realistic, for the sun and the sun rays, just because I really wanted to break myself free from any concerns and any artistic rules, standards, techniques, element, principle, etc. It's just to have something with boundaries very clearly set for you. This is why I did a black outline at the beginning, to just give yourself 20-30 minutes of mindfulness. So when your mind is present into your body, and you're present and you're kind of enjoy what you're doing, repeating and repeating with a nice moderate pace the same actions. Did my mind was always present? I want to tell the truth. No, in a couple of times I was thinking what I have to do later, at what time do I have to pick up my son. It is okay. But then I took a deep breath and I say, let's enjoy this purple. Let's enjoy this red. Let's focus on these black lines that I'm repeating over and over. So I hope you enjoy, and I will post other mindful practice. If you're an adult, homeschooling kids, these are very nice practice to do all together as a family, together with your students. If you're young teachers and you have to do some art integration, or you have to kind of find the strategies to manage behavior and help your students to feel like stress-free, these are actually wonderful practice. So I see you soon with another one. Ciao a tutti!